So today, what the? That's weird. So today I have a list of jobs that I need to get done around the house. Let's make a start. Bloody door. So Theodore stayed with my mum last night, which means he's still away, but I still have this one. Say hi. So today I thought I would do something a little bit different and do a Q&A. Hi. Hi. But because I don't have an audience, I didn't want to ask myself the generic YouTube, who am I questions. Instead, I turned to AI to create just 5 questions that were specific to me and my journey so far. So let's get started. Question number 1. Why did I start making videos again? Just for a little bit of context, if we rewind the clock back to 2016, I was going through probably one of the darkest periods of my life. And when I say darkest periods, I was suffering with my mental health on levels that I never thought I probably would ever go to, and it was a very, very dark time for me. But during that time, I was speaking to a lot of different therapists, trying different things to try and help get me through that challenging period. And nothing was really working. I didn't find that the conversations were necessarily helping me get to a place where I felt a little bit more at peace. But saying that, one therapist actually asked me one question, which became the catalyst for me starting to create. When we talk about creating and being a creative, everyone has their own form of art. For me, it's a variety. It's from drawing, painting, to playing music, and what became making videos. I needed to find a form of escapism, so every day I wouldn't just wake up and focus on the negativity in my life. Instead, I would distract myself and break that state. So I started creating videos back in 2016. For me, creating has always been this form of escapism. Ever since I was a young kid, me and my brothers would always play board games, play video games. I would read books. I would always just find ways to create these narratives, these worlds that I could escape to, and it would help me get through the challenging times that I had as a child. You know, we all go through things like bullying, issues with our parents, you know, the things that we all go through as children growing up, learning to understand who we are and how we fit into this wider world. And so for me, that element of storytelling was always my form of escapism. I found creating videos was the best way to do it.
Cuddles.
So creating videos for those number of years became a big part of helping me transition through my struggles with my mental health, but then also opened up doors to creating different types of content. You know, it encouraged me to start traveling more by myself, to start exploring different parts of the world. It helped me meet and connect with so many incredible individuals. And it created a purpose at that point in my life and served me in so many different ways that gave me so much fulfillment. And so fast forward to now. So why I started creating videos again is very simply down to this one thing. I missed creating videos and storytelling. This is what she's doing right now. What are you doing, Roro? She's alive. So just before we went on holiday the other week, Danica's parents were staying with us, and her dad helped me do all this paneling. Hold on. What are you doing? What are you doing? I told you, she's a ball of energy. So my job now is to go around and cork everywhere that needs corking. So in hindsight, I probably should have prepared this video a little bit better and actually looked over some of the questions, because coming up with the answers on the spot is not as easy as one might imagine. Question number 2. Why am I documenting such ordinary things? Tip to Liam in the future: if you're going to do a Q&A, make sure you prepare the answers to the questions. In fact, just make sure you read the questions first before starting the camera, so at least you know the answer. Why am I... So why do I film the ordinary? So for me, I find satisfaction in just finding the stories in every day-to-day life. And I'm not trying to hide anything. I'm not trying to force anything. I'm just showcasing what it's like to be a dad of 2 crazy balls of energy who just give me so much joy and give me so much joy and satisfaction in life. And in that you can find stories. You see, I don't find the ordinary days are ordinary anymore. And typically in my day-to-day life as a dad, as a working dad, moments like these I'll look back on and cherish. The ordinary it's just not ordinary anymore. My life has changed so much. The older I get, the more I realize these will be the moments that I miss the most. Just creating memories with my kids. So Renault has just gone to sleep, which gives me an opportunity to finish caulking these walls. Then I need to sand them down and repaint them. So the paneling is now done. I'm taking a break while the caulk dries, and then I will need to sand it and paint it. So in the meantime, let's do question number 3. Question number 3. What am I hoping these videos will become? Okay, this is very easy to answer. I have no idea. There was no goal, there was no major direction with picking up a camera and starting to film again. I didn't set myself some meta goal of becoming a full-time YouTuber. I just literally wanted to start creating videos daily, bi-daily, weekly, and just finding the interesting things in every day to talk about and just create little mini films around them that hopefully one day me and my kids can share. So yeah, I'm just riding that wave of creativity while it's there and enjoying the freedom of just creating whatever I wake up and want to film and shoot and talk about. So Renoa is now awake, and while she is somewhat chill, I thought I would use this opportunity to answer question number 4. What's changed about me since I stopped creating? This is an interesting question. Excuse you. So the last video I posted on YouTube was 7 years ago. Now a lot has changed in 7 years. I have 2 children. I get married to Danica in October this year. We bought a house together 5 years ago. We have different jobs. We have different friendship groups. We live in a different area of the UK. A lot has changed. So naturally, the content that I create, the type of videos I create is also going to have changed. Because if I look back to 9, 8, 7 years ago when I was filming, and by no stretch did I create a huge amount of videos. I think I created like 50 videos in total over 3-4 years. The style of videos was very different. There was no structure to it. Some were traditional vlogging videos, some were travel vlogging videos, some were talking head videos where I just turn the camera on and almost do like a Dear Diary entry. And in some cases, some videos I was telling stories using this contraption that I made in this shed that I was filming from, whereby I connected my camera and I was cutting out drawings that I made and telling stories using paper and pens. Ultimately, whatever fed that desire to create that day, that energy was what helped me create and tell that story at that time. So it was a very different time because it was just me. I could afford to book a flight to go somewhere on a weekend and go by myself and travel and find interesting things to talk about. I could leave the house and drive to Brighton down the road and film in Brighton. I could go do something last minute and film about it. I had no obligations, no restrictions, no one to respond to or report to, and I could just do what I want. But now I have responsibilities. I am a parent. I have to build whatever interests and hobbies I have and things that I want to do around my family because they are my priority. So, of course, things are going to have changed. So it's just gone 9 p.m. here in the Yates household. It's still light outside. Everyone is currently asleep, which has given me the perfect opportunity to sneak upstairs and start editing today's video. However, I was going through today's footage and I completely forgot that I had one more question that I needed to answer. So, I am now going to answer question number 5, which is probably the most important one. What if nobody ever watches these videos? Now, this is a super interesting question. Now, this is so funny because as I record this, today is Saturday, the 25th of July. I have made 7 videos. The first video was on the 3rd of July. I have finished editing each and every one. However, I have posted 0. Not one of those videos as of today has been posted online. Which brings me to answering the question, what if nobody watches these? That's not why I'm doing this. And I think if I go back to 7 years ago when I stopped making videos, I think that was one of the drivers that made me stop making videos in the first place, because I fell out of love with the process. No, let me rephrase that. I fell out of love with making, and if I look back to, and if I go back 7 years ago, I think this is one of the main reasons I stopped creating videos. Because I fell out of love with the whole concept of making videos, because it became less about creating things that I enjoyed, that gave me energy, that I wanted to create and shoot and produce, and it became more about what other people wanted and what I thought was going to get that extra follower, get that extra like, get that extra engagement, and it took away the fun of it. It became more like a chore than anything else. Whereas now, the reason I'm doing these videos is for me. And if I again look back to when I was creating videos before, I was trying to create content for other people that I thought would help other people. And even recently, I filmed, maybe 2 months ago, I filmed 5 videos that were just me talking to the camera on a subject around patrocins, which is this whole idea of which is this whole idea and research around men struggling post birth of their child and men who go through postnatal depression and this whole chemical change that we go through and how that impacts us mentally, physically, and emotionally. And I found that super interesting because I felt like I'd gone through that journey personally, and I wanted to talk about it in order to help potentially other dads who were going through the same thing and weren't quite sure what that thing was. However, that didn't really interest me. Again, I was creating and forcing myself to produce content which I thought was going to help other people rather than just telling stories that I wanted to tell. And so that's what I'm doing now. I don't care if no one watches this video or gives it a thumbs up or subscribes as a result. If you do enjoy the content, amazing. However, it's not why I do this. I do this primarily for me to give me that sense of fulfillment and joy and put my creativity and my energy into creating these small stories that hopefully when my kids are a bit older, they can look back on and just share together. That's why I do it. Memories and experiences. So at the end of the day, I don't make them for the audience, I make them for me.